Yo, a new day, a new vid on Project Scroll. So, what have I been working on this past while? I started working on the environment, and firstly, I started modeling. So I started modeling a wall, but it looked ugly because there was no texture. So for inspiration for textures, I looked towards Overwatch because I've been playing it quite a bit recently, and from what I see, I like the way they look. They're like stylish and cartoonish while still kind of having like a bit of realism to them at the same time. So for the floors and walls, I put these Overwatch inspired textures over them. And for the actual design of the level, it's pretty much the same as the ones I used in the prototype for my last game. They're very similar, but now it looks nicer and it functions a bit better. Okay, remember this guy from the last earlier prototype, this knight guy who you fight at the end? This is him now. He looks a lot more nicer and he has more personality to him, I think, as well. For the model, I gave him this caveman tribal kind of look and aesthetic, and he uses this wooden shield as a weapon. And for his name, I'm calling him Hunch because he's like hench and stuff. Now, the only problem I had when making this boss was difficulty. I let my brothers try out the last boss from the earlier prototype that I made, and they got bodied. They were struggling. They were getting whooped left and right. It's like they were getting comboed by the boss. I did not expect it to be that hard. So for this one, the goal is just to hope that it's not as hard. I also remade the move changing system. So instead of pausing the game, only picking two moves and then unpausing it, which was slow and it could be confusing for first timers, you can now do it on the fly while playing the game without stopping, just making for a smoother, better footer experience in general. And for the UI, I just made it in the Photoshop in like 20 seconds for each icon. It's very easy and quick, which I plan on changing in the future because it kind of looks ugly right now. So obviously it's not permanent. I also upgraded the UI in general, mainly just slight animations here and there just to make it feel more responsive. To improve things graphically, I tried to switch the project to URP. However, the materials wouldn't upgrade because they weren't valid or something or whatever. I just had post-processing effects and called it a day. Well, on a higher note, I made some changes regarding playstyle and how the two characters will play off each other. So I slightly changed their moveset and animations, making them cleaner and more expressive of their personality. But before I explain that, I should probably tell you why I'm making these changes in the first place. It's mainly because I want the two players to work together, and these new changes to the playstyle should encourage that. So I put them under two archetypes. So Wiz is faster and nimble, but he doesn't do a lot of damage compared to Red Guy. But he's probably going to be the one setting up and creating the chances for Red Guy to attack, which he is slower and a bit more sluggish in his attacks. However, he does a lot more damage compared to Wiz, so he'll probably be finishing the attacks and getting that final blow in. I also think it shows it off a bit in their character designs, where Wiz is skinnier and smaller and Red is bigger and broader and wider compared to each other. And also the weapons they use as well, making the staff that Wiz used, making him look more intelligent compared to the Red Guy's sword. I also think it shows it off a bit in their animations as well, by the way they run and walk and just move in general. Now let's move on to the enemies. I had to rewrite the code for their AI because I have this tsundere-ass relationship with nav meshes and nav mesh agents, where at the start I was using them, then I stopped using them for some reason, and I came back and I stopped. I'm using them now, and that's final. I don't think I'll ever stop using them now, and I'm probably going to use them until the rest of development, because there's no way I'm going to create my own pathfinding system. but pretty much I wasn't really too familiar with how to use them, and I wasn't as good as using them as I was now. So I kept having problems with them, and I ended up just not using it. But they're okay now. We've learned to mend our relationship. And keep in mind, I had to do this with all of the enemies, which was just only like 3 of them, but it's still all the enemies. Other things that were changed was jumping. I removed it completely. It doesn't really add anything. It's kind of just there. It doesn't, you don't need it at all. You don't need it to jump over things. It's pretty much useless. And there's no aerial combos in the game either, so I removed jumping because there's no real reason to have it in the game. On the contrary, I added a shield and parry mechanic. So Red the Wiz brings up a magical shield which blocks and freezes all projectiles, and Red Guy comes over and uses a reflect attack to reflect the projectiles, which just makes dealing with projectiles a lot more easier and funner, and it also fits in with the whole team of working together to take down the enemies and stuff. On top of that, I added 2 new enemies just to add a little bit of variety. One of the enemies are really big and tanky and can walk through a lot of your weaker hits if you're not trying to daze him. The other one is a small little purple ball, but he's like a ghost and can phase through your attacks, so you end up having to wait till he gets down and stuff in order to attack him again. If you have any cool ideas for enemies, please comment them down below. I'd definitely be willing to make them, especially if it's a good idea or anything. So yet again, please comment down below if you have any ideas. So for this prototype, there is 4 levels, and obviously visually there's still a lot of work to do on them, but it works for now. And compared to the last one, it's definitely quite the upgrade. It makes the game look a little bit more presentable, which will hopefully bring some more attention to the game and to the videos as well. The last thing I worked on was the music for the game. I made the music in FL Studio, and some of the music I made was also played in the last video as well, the Game Jam one. And I was supposed to make my own music for the Game Jam, but I kind of ran out of time, and I didn't think I had enough time as well to learn FL Studio. The songs will also be playing throughout this video as well, so if you like the music playing, it's good. So that's everything for this devlog on Project Scroll, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I just hope that the game isn't too hard and it's somewhat balanced. So please check out the game. It should be down in the description, and if not, it'd be the first pinned comment in the comment section. You can play the game now on itch, so please try it out, and I wish you all the best of luck. Peace.